I'm gonna stop talking. I don't want to take up too much of your time, brother. But again, I really appreciate you. I value not just you, but also the other brothers and sisters who are on this, this call. And I'm really excited about the progress I've made. I'm just looking forward to being able to make more progress.
Yeah, yeah. And just to quickly comment, like the line by line thing, like I really do wish we can do a line by line, but if you look at all the HTML, like this is the HTML for the project, and it's almost, so it's 400 lines, and then you look at the CSS, and then it's 5, 6, 8. There's almost 1,000 lines of CSS. So my goal was to like, even though this is a lot of code, like I mean, it would definitely take a long time to go through, like but just writing it. Sorry, but either way, what I was trying to say was my strategy was to teach the like the components, like to teach you like what this div tag was, or like what an image tag was, or what an anchor tag was. And then from the components, as long as you understand the components, you should be able to get a general idea of like what's on the screen. That was like the strategy I was trying to go for, because it is too much to like look at, to be honest. And there's so many different combinations of CSS that the best way to do it is just to teach you what each thing do, and then you start to mix and match it yourself and start to really understand how to play with it. But yeah, it really is just a lot.
Point is the point. It says if we can be able to make our own projects, and then I think that's where we can go and show people that we go on interviews like, hey, we know how to, we know how to do this. This is something this is our project. It's on GitHub. We've done this is how we put it together. But that's what I'm hoping that I can get to, but I appreciate your patience with us.
Yeah, it's all part of the learning process. Like, even if I was to go back to like when I first started, honestly, if I would have started where you were, like from scratch or whatever, like taking this class, it would be a challenge. And like the purpose is really to like stretch you in a sense, so that you're able to like see the small parts. The big picture, the big general, like the general picture is what really matters. All of like the details and stuff like that, that's all stuff that can be like figured out later. What I think everybody should keep in mind is, don't worry so much about the details, but the bigger picture, the general idea. And as far as like creating something yourself, what I'm gonna do is for the homework, I'm gonna you'll have two options. I'm gonna give you like a simpler template to create, or to like to do on your own, and the more complicated one will be the one that we're currently doing now. So the simpler one, it'll just have, maybe I'm gonna try to look for something that just has divs and paragraph tags, just so you can just start writing it yourself in like some simple CSS. And yeah, but the one that we're doing in class, like this one is not, it's not easy to do. Like even people that know HTML and CSS, some people wouldn't even know how to build it. But like I said, like the purpose was just to like stretch, what you're able to do, so that whenever you do simple tasks, when you do like a simple task, you're able to get it done a lot quicker. Where's that image at? But yeah, this is complicated. It's not easy to do, honestly. It took me some time to even do it, to even get to the point where I can just look at it and just be able to create it. So yeah.
I think I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Can you go over the dev tools? I keep hearing that term dev tools, and I sometimes get confused about it. So can you?
So so if you're in the Chrome browser, right? You have to be in the Chrome browser. The only other one that has it is Firefox, but I would just use Chrome. The dev tools, it stands for developer tools. So you can get to the dev tools by right clicking and pressing inspect. You can do that, or you can press F12 on your keyboard. This, and I'm glad you asked this question, because there's certain things I didn't specifically teach. Let's say I wanted to bring this up in the dev tools, like this text right here. I'm gonna highlight it, I'm gonna right click, and then press inspect, because I'm inspecting what I'm currently over. So when I press inspect, you can see that it opens up the elements tab to the text that I tried to inspect. Also, let's say like I wanted to bring this apple up over on this side in the dev tools. I can press this arrow right here. This arrow gives me the ability to click on something on the screen. If you hover over different stuff, you can see that it's highlighted. And as soon as I click one of those things, it brings me directly to that item in the dev tools. You can see it right here. This gets useful when you have a lot of stuff and you don't want to keep going through opening up these tags just to try to find one small thing, because this stuff can get like really it can get really nested. Like it can get like, and when I say nested, I mean HTML elements inside of other HTML elements inside of HTML elements. They can get like, it can get really, really messy really, really fast.
Yeah, Isaiah, you said that. So that button that you just click right there allows you to just click on each tag and go into it. Or once you click on that button, you can click on the actual screen and it'll go right there for you, is what you said, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This thing is
now,
really
one other question though. So basically with the dev tools, like since I think you said that you would be able to show us like how to actually make changes in there eventually. But for right now, it's really just to get a feel for it without having to go back and forth between like VSC, and so you can actually test things out in the dev tools, test it out, see if it works, see if it looks like you want it to look, copy the changes, and then make the changes. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's so much convenient. Yeah. It's so much more convenient when you have like the dev tools open. And the dev tools is not just for HTML. Like there's a lot of stuff in here. Like, and like, I mean, what we're doing is just HTML. When we get to JavaScript, we're gonna start messing with the console tab. Like there's different tabs up here. If I open this up more, you can see elements, we can see console, sources. Sources has all your files inside of it. And like, I'm just showing you this just so that like, in case you want to go through it yourself, but it literally loads everything that's on your page. You even have like all of the cookies that's on your page, everything that's saved. You can clear cookies from the dev tools also. Like you can do a lot of stuff in here. One thing, one thing that you can do, and I'm gonna show y'all like it's like a hack really, and it's like it's something I do all the time. When somebody, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but when somebody like puts their password on my computer and they save it to my computer, you know how you go to a website and like it pre-fills the password. Like I can get that password if it's pre-filled, because you can mess with the stuff in the dev tools. Let me show you how to do that, just so y'all can like know the power of this. I'm gonna just create some input. I'm gonna do this directly in here, and you can create the HTML in here too, as you can see. Type password. Where's this input box? So we got an input box right here, right? If I start typing in here, you can see that like it's just just like when you put a password in. But if you go to a website and they have these dots like that, you can go to the input. You can go right to the input, and then you can just take off this thing that says type password. You can delete that, and then you can see the password just pop up right there. Like there's like, you start getting into this back end stuff. Like you can hack, you can do.
Well, you got me not going to do those automatic setups. Thank you.
Yeah, I still do them. But like, it's like, it is what it is. Like, And I think that's why people should have those password generator things, the ones where you log into the website that generated it for you so it can do all this stuff for you. I think that's the benefit of that, because anybody can steal your password if they put it in your if they put it in your computer, or you go to their computer and just do it. But yeah.
Damn, what if you was at like a coffee shop or something?
Yeah, just leave your computer. Oh yeah, let me just go to pre-fill. Okay, cool. Let me just, and I forgot my own password, and I do this to like remember it. Okay, like what did I put last time? And I just do this. So
Yeah, bro. As I got a question. I just follow instruction that you just gave to us on the dev tools, and a lot of code reading on my screen right now. I see element, console, source, and network.
yeah,
As soon as I did that, yeah.
yep. And I have
So
network.
what's the whole idea behind the dev tool? Can you just tell me what I still want to understand the whole idea behind,
So
effecting the dev tools, yeah.
So with the dev tools, I'm gonna close it for a little bit. Every time you're on a website, right? There's a lot of things. Let me refresh this so that input box can go away. Every time you're on a website, the website that you're on is actually doing a lot of stuff in the background. Like we just see what's on the screen here, but there's things going on in the background that happens that brings all of this stuff to the screen. And the dev tools is a way for you to look at, like, if let's say that this is a car, like if this is your car, the dev tools is like the engine. You want to look at the engine, you want to see how this thing is ticking, you want to see how it's running. Like if I'm on a website and like let's say like it happens all the time.
So
Like
the brains.
yeah, exactly. The brain is right. Let's say I try to log in somewhere, right? Like I try to log in with my password, and then like nothing happens on the website. Like you press enter and you're like, you're not seeing something happen because something's wrong with the website. What I always do is go to the dev tools, and I can go in and say, okay, now I see why this other website is broken, because this thing in the dev tools is telling me this. If I go to the console, I can see that there's a lot of errors just by me, just on this website. There's a lot of errors here. That means that there's stuff, there's 404, this 404 means something. Like there's stuff on this website that's broken that you can't see just by looking at it, but I can see it here in the dev tool. It's just stuff that you need to fix on their end. So it's really the brains behind the whole website, the engine.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, would we consider the dev tool to be like a bash stream for developers?
You said consider to be a what? A what screen?
Back screen.
Back screen,
Some
yeah.
screen in the back.
Yeah. You can think of it like the back end of the website.
Yeah, the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can put, I got a question. So you can pull up dev tools on like any website?
Yep, on any website.
But you have to open the VOS code?
You just inspect it. You
just go to inspection.
Right.
The question I had earlier was about GitHub. So they have separate projects from what you're doing?
So GitHub is a place that you can use to you can use GitHub to like store your code. If you want to, like, even like if at the job, like all of the code is stored on GitHub or a website that's like GitHub. What you're able to do with that is share code with other people, because on the job you work with a team, and they say, okay, like these are your team members. This is the code that you need to share. If you've ever been on Google, if you ever did like a Google Docs and like shared it with somebody, if they change something, you can see them in real time, like changing it. And if you change something, update it on your side, they can see the updates that you're doing. GitHub can be looked at as a central place for everybody to put all of their code. It's like a way for everybody to dump everything in the same spot. I'm not sure if I made that more complex than what it is, but yeah, that's what GitHub is.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you a question. Do you create a working group on GitHub since you'll be working in teams?
Yeah, you can create a group on GitHub. like this is my GitHub. It literally has all of the code on here. Like I have the code, I have all the code I made for the course. I got code since when I first started. Like I didn't realize how much stuff I wrote in here. It's a lot of stuff in here. Got the very first portfolio I made. Like it even shows you how often you post on the website here on this calendar. Shows a lot of stuff about you. And this is an old picture, obviously.
So we will have an opportunity with you to kind of work on GitHub to just have just to have an experience moving forward.
Nah, I would do. I'll just YouTube it. YouTube GitHub.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of this stuff you can YouTube. You can YouTube like pretty much everything I talk about here. Like you can YouTube it. YouTube is gonna be your best friend. YouTube and Google. Like you got questions, just look it up because that's what you're gonna be doing when you're on a job. All these videos gonna be help.
Sounds very good, but it's always encouraging when you have a mentor that tells you what to do with YouTube.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I understand, but like when you're on a job, you're not gonna have a mentor, and that's the hard truth, to be honest. It's like you rather I'll rather give somebody a reflection of what's gonna be real than set you up for failure. Even when I taught at the boot camps, right? Like they always told the students, hey, you have to get into the habit of looking stuff up yourself and not being afraid to see something that you've never seen before, because that's a reflection of what is actually like on the job. I do understand your point with like it's good to have a mentor, but like I feel like it's really putting you in a bad mindset because you're not going to have somebody there to help you out all the time. You want to be as independent as possible. I think the best analogy, I have an analogy. So I'm a drummer, right? Like I used to drum in high school. I was a drumline captain. So when I was learning how to drum, my drum teacher used to tell me to hold the drumsticks a very specific way. Say hold it like this. Make sure your wrist is loose. Like every time, even though we were drumming the right way, if we weren't holding our wrist the right way, then he would say no, you're not doing it right. Like start over. And he kept saying that over and over until a point where it just got ingrained in us. And it's like, okay, I can't even drum without holding the drumsticks properly. And that by itself is what helped us kind of like take off. Like we learned really fast. Like the learning was slow in the beginning because now we have to learn, and we also have to hold the drumsticks properly. But once we learned all of that, from there it wasn't hard for us to learn anything else. And I think that's how you should like sort of think about it. It's the same with coding, to be honest. I don't know if that was if I was just rambling, but yeah, it's 7. Let me actually continue where we left off at, and from there I'll give you the rest to do for homework, and I'll give this template to do for homework, and I'll give another one, an easier one. So you can choose from this one or you can choose from the other one, depending on like where you think you are in the class. Personally, I think everybody should go for the harder one to do. You don't have to complete it, but I just want you to like try your best to make something that looks like this. Because that I feel like that will help you much better than taking on the easier one. That's just my opinion, though. Everybody learns differently, but there's the let me bring up the so all right. So this is where we were last time. What I'm gonna do for the next 20 minutes is continue with this yellow section here. What I'm gonna try to do is put all of this stuff here. This stuff, I want to make sure this is where it needs to be. And I'm gonna even put like this top corner stuff here also. If I have time, I'll do that towards the end.
Hey, just so we can make sure that we're on the same page, can you put the latest update of the code in the platform you were using, the FS
Yeah,
Doodle?
yeah. I'll open up this video. I still didn't create an account on this. Actually, I probably do have an account. Not have an account. We can sign up quickly. It's gonna be quick. And I'm hoping a refresh happens automatically. So let me paste in all of this over here. And all of this code that I'm starting off with is also in Drive. I drop all of the updated code in there. Main dot. This is not it. This is that's not the stuff. This is it. And stuff. And I put the reset CSS in there as well. I kept forgetting to put this part in there. So everything should be in there now. All right, so I want to mess with this part here. This is the top right div. So top right is here. Right now we just got this discount button, the discount section, and the category section. We were going to put this stuff here for categories. What I'm going to do is, if I look at this, right, like I can see that this is very simple. It's similar as in like it has a heading and then it has like some stuff towards like the bottom. So like the template for this and this is exactly the same. The only difference is this new tooltip, but this template is exactly the same. So what I'm going to do is create one of these, and then I'm gonna drop the next. I'm gonna drop like another one underneath it, so that like because it's literally the exact same template. And because I see something that looks the same, that's the exact same template, what I'm going to do, instead of using ID, I'm going to use class to start styling it. And remember that the reason I'm using class is because I'm going to have more than one of these. So more than one thing is going to have the same name. And with IDs, I know that these were the only things of this kind, which is why we gave it IDs or something. So in the category section, I'll start with the heading. So heading tags, I'm not sure if I went over this in the course or not, but heading tags range from H1 to like H8 or something like that, or maybe H6, I don't know. And let me just show you, I'm gonna show you the difference between all of them. I don't know if I showed y'all this in the course. It's something I gotta add. Once I show you how this looks, y'all gonna automatically see like what's going on. We got H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. These are all headings, different types of headings. I think it just goes to H6 actually. I'm gonna test this out. I'm gonna go here and refresh. Why did that? Oh, because I got the reset CSS again. Let me actually Wait, that should not have done that. Hold on. This was supposed to look a little bit different. Let me try to figure out what's going on. Just debugging really quick, just to, okay, it was a reset CSS. Okay, I'm gonna put the reset CSS back, but yeah, actually, I'm gonna give you a different reset CSS because I don't want this to affect the headings. I'm gonna delete all of this. Keep that here. Delete that. Just trying to fix some stuff. Okay, all right, that's much better. I'm gonna paste in this reset CSS. We don't want to use the one we were currently using because it was resetting too much stuff. All right, so the heading tags, right? We can see that all of these things are different sizes. If we look at it in HTML, I was just literally just using H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. H1 is the largest heading until you get down to H6, which is the smallest heading. So that's what the head tags do for us. What I'm gonna do is I want to use maybe something that's close to this size. So I'll use this one here, and that one is the H3. Yes, H3.
Hey Isaiah, can you drop the JS Fiddles hyperlink in the chat?
Oh yes. Sorry, I did not do that. There you go. Okay. So I'm gonna use the H3 for this. I'm gonna just write categories in there. So H3 categories. And some text here. I'm just gonna make these paragraph tags. Casual. I'm just gonna say exclusive and joggers. So we're gonna have to put all of that. Exclusive. Joggers. Yeah. And I'll leave it just like this. So we have the heading.
Joggers is missing a G, bro.
Which one? Oh yes.
Joggers.
I got it. Thank you. I can support cat. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have the heading and we have the 3 paragraphs here. Now let me see how that looks in the browser. All right. So we have a heading, and obviously the spacing is all messed up in here, but we have a heading and we have 3 things here at the bottom. I want to make these things look like the stuff on the other side. So the first thing I'm noticing, the difference between this section and this section, is that these are spaced out a lot. It's like a lot more than what is spaced out in my code. Whenever you want to space out stuff like this, you can do one of 2 things. You can either give it margin, or you can give it something called line height. And I'm gonna show you both just so that you can see it. So I'm gonna click this, and for this just this one paragraph, I'm gonna style that. I'm gonna do line height first since we didn't see line height yet. give it like a pixel value. So I'm gonna hover over this. You can see the blue right here, right? The blue is the line height. It's literally the amount of space this paragraph takes up. The more I increase that, the more space it's going to take up. So that's line height. So we can do line height, or I'm gonna uncheck that, or we can do margin. Margin takes the pixel amount also. And if I increase this, you can see that it's spacing out also. But the only difference between margin and this is that margin is giving us like some left margin. You see some left margin on this side. What I'm gonna do is just use the line height, because the line height just affects just the one thing. But as in coding, like there's always more than one way to do the same thing. It's just which one you want to choose. So I'm gonna give all of these a line height of 4 pixels. Copy this. And since I want to give all of these paragraphs a line height of 4 pixels, the first thing I'm gonna do is, actually, let me put this inside of a div. And I'm putting this inside of a div because on a template, we said that this is its own like template here, like, and this is its own template. But this whole thing represents the category section. So we got the category section, which is the top div, and then we have 2 divs inside of it, this one and this one. And that is the div that I'm creating right here. That's just the thought process behind it. And I'm gonna give this a class name of category. Save this. And since I want to give all of these paragraphs line heights, I'm gonna just go to the CSS, and then I'm gonna target the category. But within the category, I'm gonna target the paragraphs. I'm gonna give all those paragraphs a line height of 40 pixels.
Hey, Isaiah, does line height work with all tags? Or does it just have to be strings, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I only tried it with paragraphs. I'm not sure. Let me check. But yeah, let me refresh real quick. So these are all spaced out. Let me check it with like divs and stuff.
Because you're saying line height and margin are pretty much kind of the same thing, right? In a way.
Right.
So I was just looking to see if you can use the line height on other things, or if you just have to go with margin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It looks like it works on. Okay, it's doing something weird with the div. Yeah, it's doing something really weird. Yeah, I would stick to just text things like paragraphs and spans. Yeah, I've never actually thought to even try it on something else, to be honest. But yeah. That's
okay,
with divs. Yeah, let me refresh that. So now we got these spaced out a little bit. The next thing I'm noticing that's different is this one has like a lighter color. It's like a gray. Instead of getting the actual color, I'm just gonna like guess at what color this is, or just kind of play around with it. I'm gonna click on one of these paragraphs, and I'm gonna just start editing this in the dev tools to get a color that looks very similar. So I'm gonna just change the color directly in here. I'm just give it a color of black for now. And if you want to adjust the color, you can press there's like a black box right here. You see a black box right here. If you click that, you go into this color tool. So I'm gonna just change the color to like a grayish color. And I think this is the color I'm gonna choose for it. I'm gonna get all of the paragraphs. So now all of them got that gray color to them. So let's see. All right, so now that I have this and I have these paragraphs, I'm gonna start spacing some of this stuff out because it doesn't look like it's spaced out as much. And I'm gonna shift the dev tools to be towards the bottom so that it's not all squished on there. Why is that? Let me fix my, I think I'm zoomed in. We put this at the bottom so that we can see it. So this 25% is supposed to be like towards the center, and it's not exactly at the top. It's like shifted more towards like the middle. So what I'm thinking about doing is it's just centering this box here. You can see a box, and it looks like it's about centered. So I'm gonna center that box just so we push this 25% away from the edge. And then I'm going to start aligning the things within the within this box, this section and this section and this section here. So I'll go to top right. So everything inside of top right needs to be centered. So I can see from the HTML that we have the discount section and we have category. So since I want to put all of that in one box, I'm going to put all of this inside of a div. And then I'm going to center that div so that everything inside of it gets centered on the screen. I'm gonna paste in the let me paste in this code for anybody that wants to follow. Paste that in the reset CSS and the HTML that I have right now. Save it, and this link does change. I'm not sure why it's not updating properly.
The question.
Yeah, I'm using VS Code to yeah, I see a question in the chat.
Yeah. So the question, the other question I had was about the reset. Do you have 3 files open, or is it just one file open?
So I have the reset on JS Fiddle, you're saying?
Okay, the CSS. So no, okay, that's what that's JS.
Yeah, the JS
Yeah.
Fiddle. I pasted the regular CSS, and then under it I put the reset CSS. The reason I put it under it because, go ahead.
So that's the point. I have 2 files up. I have index HTML and a main CSS file. I didn't get the reset .css file code. Is that in the JS Fiddle as well?
Yeah, it's hard to see because it's all bunched together, but this is all it from JS Fiddle. You start off with all of this stuff here, and then all which was the bottom. You can just paste it into your reset.css. Don't forget to link this to your HTML. And when you link it, you want to put it you want to put it on top of the main.css like this. But you should see that in the HTML already. I pasted that. You should see it here. It should be already linked. But yeah.
Your computers, are you done asking questions?
So question, and I'm sorry because I did come a little bit late, but what does the reset CSS the reset CSS do exactly?
Yeah. So reset CSS basically makes sure that all of the HTML on the page is the same between all browsers. If you look at see if that, all right. If you're on a Chrome browser, right, and you look at a website, and then you go to Firefox, or you go to Internet Explorer or Safari, the website looks different. Like there's very small changes that's different, like the font sizes, the margin, the padding, all of that stuff is different across browsers. So reset CSS basically resets all of the default CSS applied to the HTML elements so that it can look the same across all browsers, or as similar as possible across all browsers. Yeah, I think it would probably been better if I showed you an example, but like it basically just resets that. And I'm just looking at the time. And it's basically 7:30 now, so I'll let the class go. What I'm gonna, but first I'm gonna leave y'all with like what to do next. Homework, right? Is to finish as much as you can from this template, and that's all on Google Drive. You're gonna see the updated code there as well. I'm gonna drop it right after the class. You can either do this, or I'm gonna give you another template that looks a little bit simpler than this. But like I said in the beginning, I think it's better if everybody try this, because it's gonna stretch your your imagination. You're gonna be forced to think of different ways to get the job done, as opposed to just doing a simple one. And when y'all submit the homework, just drop your files in the group, in the drive. You can drop it, and I'll take a look and I'll give you like feedback or whatever. So just created a homework folder. In this class, homework is not required, but I want you to do it because it's going to help. And plus, it shows me like where you are in the class, and if like I should do something a little bit better. But yeah, drop your files directly inside of here. Make a folder, name the folder your name, and just drop all of your files in there. I'll take a look at it. And I'll give the easier template later on today. I gotta find one that looks relatively easy to do. And on Sunday, we're gonna jump to JavaScript. Even if you don't understand it, the HTML and CSS now is fine, because we're gonna keep practicing this. This is not the last time we're gonna see it. Not the last time I'm gonna like teach it in a sense. But I just want to get to JavaScript so that we can do both at the same time. Two birds with one stone. So yeah. And that's really it, unless there's any questions.
Homework due Sunday.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oops.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Isaiah, did you drop the other code?
I'm about to drop it in the drive.
Okay.
I'm about to drop the whole folder in there. Let me stop the share really quick.